Episode 9 is set to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are really interested in when it comes to this movie is exactly how J.J. is going to utilize all of the different action-packed sequences within the second and third acts of the film that will involve characters like Rey, Kylo Ren, the Knights of Ren, and even Finn, Poe, Lando, and even General Leia Organa. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to various concept art descriptions for the second and third acts of the film, this is where things begin to get very intriguing and exciting for this movie. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of Rey running across a battlefield with her ignited lightsaber, where it said that she is charging toward 5 red stormtroopers, where she takes them out one by one in a fit of rage. It's described that Rey stabs one of the troopers in the abdominal area, similar to what Finn did in The Force Awakens on Takodana, where the others are force pushed off the edge of a cliff to their death. Another goes over Kylo Ren with 2 Knights of Ren by his side, with shields of some kind. It's described that Kylo has his lightsaber ignited and is in a standoff with the character codenamed and/or named Zori, portrayed by Kerry Russell. It said that Kylo knows who Zori really is and throws his lightsaber like a boomerang toward her, where she dodges it and hops on her speeder and escapes and runs away from Kylo. Another of which describes Kylo Ren kneeling down to the ground, being frustrated and in anger with his lightsaber stabbed in the ground. It said that this is when one of the knights reveals Rey's location, as she is seen in the distance taking out troopers one by one. Lastly, a description of Rey jumping in mid-air across a broken bridge that is said to be on the verge of collapsing, where she yells for Finn and Poe to run across quickly. It's described that Finn makes it, however, as Poe runs across the bridge. It fails, and Poe is helped by both Finn and Rey. So I want to go over a couple of parts about all of this and why this sounds like it really is something taken directly out of, let's say, for example, Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, or just something crazy like that. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams is going all out with this movie in order to truly end the Skywalker saga on a good note. And we also know that J.J. really wants to do something very special for this film that's indeed really going to make us look at The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi in a totally different way. So, the great thing about these sequences in particular is that this really screams, right, to the point where we are actually going to have these large battles, these land battles that we have never seen before in the Skywalker saga. So first things first, I want to go over Rey going over the basic, red stormtroopers that are actually dubbed as the Red Fury. Rey is actually killing them one by one in a fit of rage. Now, could this signal that Rey is actually tapping into the dark side of the Force, similar to what Luke Skywalker did at the very end of Return of the Jedi against Darth Vader? It's possible. We do know that, of course, J.J. Abrams is doing a bit of a reverse in this movie where Kylo Ren is fully embraced with the dark side of the Force in the first and second act of the film until the third act, where he becomes more conflicted again. And Rey is actually going to be conflicted as a character a little bit more in the beginning, where she eventually resolves at the very end of the movie. So you can really see the reverse that's happening between both Rey and Kylo Ren and where things are really going for this film. So the other one of which that I do want to go over is, of course, Kylo Ren and Zori facing each other, where he throws his lightsaber like a boomerang toward her. Now, we've seen great examples of this being used in, of course, Star Wars The Old Republic, and of course, even by Darth Vader in the comics. Basically a bridge that is failing piece by piece, where Finn eventually makes it across, but Poe fails to make it across and is hanging on by the ledge, where both Rey and Finn help Poe back up. Now again, like I say, this is a little cliche. We've seen this many times in different movies, ranging from dramas to action films and stuff like that. However, when you're bringing stuff like this into a Star Wars movie, it really does build up, right, the drama in it all. It really does build up the adrenaline. We can actually feel our characters going through danger. And it really does make one wonder what's going to happen to Poe Dameron in this movie. Initially, J.J. Abrams wanted Poe to die on Jakku in The Force Awakens once they crash landed with Finn. So, I think that there's a great possibility here that we're going to have a lot of hints here and there throughout the film of Poe's death at the very end of the movie. After all, guys, one of the big themes of this movie is that there are going to be a lot of sacrifices and losses. It's going to kind of have that Avengers Infinity War feel to it, where you're going to have a lot of characters dying, except this one's not going to have a follow-up, most likely, of course, right? At least in Avengers Endgame, they're going to find a way to bring those characters back. In this scenario, with, of course, Star Wars Episode 9, these characters, a lot of them are going to die for good, and we're talking about our heroes. This potentially means Lando Calrissian, Leia, Poe, Finn, Rey, for all we know. So a lot of things really are happening for this movie. So what do you guys make about all these different sequences in Episode 9? And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.